This is Art Television.
Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by
ඔබගේ ආදරණීය වාහනය ආදරයෙන් සුරකින්න ඉකුඩන්ස් භාවිතා කරන්න.
බාධා නැති සීමා නැති SLT Mobitel Home 4G දැන් පුළුල් ආවරණයක් සමග.
IWS Aviation.
And a warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Heshain Ali and let's have a look at the headlines first. Cabinet approval for banning dissemination of misleading information through the internet. Rupee stabilizes against the US dollar despite the allegations from the opposition, State Minister assures. News in detail. The Cabinet of Ministers accepted a proposal on drafting laws to combat the dissemination of false and misleading claims on the internet. Addressing the media this evening, Minister Keheliya Rabukwala stated that false information on the internet is a major threat that is being used to split societies.
The government announced that measures should be taken to provide access to truthful information to civilians and civil society by proposing a new legislation to defend society from the damage caused by false propaganda on the internet. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers have granted the approval for the implementation of digitalization of terrestrial television telecasting in Sri Lanka. Cabinet spokesman Keheliya Rabukwala added that the Japan International Cooperation Agency, in conjunction with the Sri Lankan government, will convert telecasting from analog to digital methodology in Sri Lanka. Furthermore, the Cabinet has nodded for the establishment of city colleges in all districts in Sri Lanka. The government intends to create university colleges as higher education institutes that will grant degrees relevant to work openings in a competitive market.
State Minister of Money and Capital Markets and State Enterprise Reforms Ajit Niwad Cabral expects the Sri Lankan rupee to stabilize in within 175 rupees to 180 rupee range against the US dollar by the end of this year. The State Minister predicted that the rupee would settle in the 175 to 180 rupees range against the US dollar by the end of the year, owing to the anticipated boost from the planned rise in the International Monetary Fund special drawing rights. According to central bank data yesterday, the Sri Lankan rupee has further appreciated against the US dollar, with the buying rate of the dollar dropping to rupees 187.93. He further stated that if the planned US dollar 650 billion additional allocation in SDRS is approved by 85% of IMF membership, Sri Lanka's foreign exchange reserves are likely to increase by 10 to 20% or US dollars 800 million. State Minister Cabral further assured that our reserves will go up and it would mean that there is additional foreign exchange liquidity in our country. If that infusion is to come in, it would be very helpful for us to take back the rupee to a comfortable level, Minister added. By the end of March, Sri Lanka's international reserves had fallen to US dollars 4.1 billion. However, after receiving the US dollar 1.5 billion swap facility and another US dollar 500 million loan from China, it is scheduled to recover this month. Professor Venerable Madhugoda Abeyattisathera says that the country can achieve great economic growth through the construction of the Colombo port city. He stated this at a press conference convened by the National Academic Bhikkhu Forum in Colombo yesterday. The National Academic Bhikkhu Forum noted that the port city project would be economically most important for Sri Lanka. Venerable Professor Madhugoda Abeyattisathera, who lead the team, also denied the allegations that the port city land area will be Chinese colony and said that the area has been already gazetted under the Colombo district. Thera also raised the Urban Development Authority will be officially there for all the development or administrative works within the port city. Venerable Thera further refuted the allegations of threats on Sri Lanka's sovereignty and said that the economic stability which is to be received via this project will directly help to project the sovereignty of the country.
චීනය මුල් වෙලා වරාය නගරය ඉදි කරන්න කටයුතු කළාට මේක චීනය විතරක් කරන ව්‍යාපාර නෙමෙයි මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඕනෑම රටක කෙනෙකුට ලංකාවේ කෙනෙකුට උනත් ඒ ස්ථානවල තමන්ගේ ආයෝජනය කරන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපි මෙහිදී විශේෂයෙන් අගය කරන්න ඕනේ පහුගිය කාලේ පහුගිය ආණ්ඩුව මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් කම්පැනියක් පිහිටවන්න තමයි සූදානම් වුණේ සමාගමක්. හැබැයි මේ වර්තමානයේදී කොමිෂන් සභාවක් හැටියට මේක පත් කරන්න ගත්ත තීරණය අපි නිවැරදි තීන්දුවක් හැටියට සලකනවා. හැබැයි මෙහිදී අපි අදහසක් පළ කරන්න ඕනේ. මේ කොමිෂමට පත් කරන්නේ කවුද කියන එක පිළිබඳව යම් නිශ්චිත භාවයක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒක ඉතා වැදගත්.
Stay tuned for more news right after this commercial break.
මගේ ආදරණීය වාහනය ආදරෙන් සුරකින්න මම පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ එකෝ ටැබ්ලට්. ඔයාලගේත් වාහනේට බය නැතුව එකෝ ටැබ්ලට් පාවිච්චි කරන්න.
ඔබගේ ආදරණීය වාහනය ආදරයෙන් සුරකින්න ඉකෝ ටැබ්ලට්ස් භාවිතා කරන්න.
අප්‍රේල් 19 වෙනිදා සිට NLB ස්වාධීන වේ. දිනන්න එන්න. අප්‍රේල් 19 වෙනිදා සිට NLB ස්වාධීන වේ. දිනන්න එන්න.
Welcome back after the break. The external sector of Sri Lanka was boosted in February 2021 by a rise in exports to pre-pandemic peaks. According to the Economic Research Department's statistics, there has been a substantial rise in worker remittances as well as a relative stabilization in the domestic foreign exchange market. The trade deficit in February 2021 was largely unchanged from the year before. However, both foreign investment in government securities and the Colombo Stock Exchange saw net outflows in the financial account. The trade account deficit in February 2021 was $572 million, essentially unchanged from the deficit in February 2020. In February 2021, all exports and imports were marginally lower than in February 2020. Meanwhile, the gross trade deficit in January to February 2021 decreased to $1,227 million, down from $1,304 million in the same time frame in 2020. As compared to February 2020, merchandise export earnings fell by 3.7% to $952 million in February 2021. In February this year, earnings from the export of manufactured products fell 6.3% year-on-year, owing primarily to a 60.8% drop in earnings from petroleum product exports and a 5.3% drop in earnings from textiles and garments. Spices, coconut and tea all led to a 5.9% growth in agricultural export earnings in February 2021 relative to the same month the previous year. Earnings from pepper, cinnamon, nutmeg and mace were boosted by both price and volume rises, while earnings from cloves grew with volume increases as well. Accordingly, in February 2021, the export volume index and the unit value index all fell by 1.6% and 2.2% respectively year-on-year. This suggests that the drop in export earnings was caused by a combination of lower export rates and lower export costs. As comparison to February 2020, merchandise import spending was 2.5% lower in February 2021, totaling $1,524 million. Import spending on non-consumer products, transportation equipment and construction materials was restrained by prohibitions on the importation of some non-essential items.
According to the Economic Research Department statistics, the import spending on consumer goods fell to 16.7% in February 2021 relative to February 2020, with a 3% drop in food and beverages and a 26.4% drop in non-food consumer goods. The drop in non-food consumer goods imports was led by the decline in import of vehicles for personal use, while other non-food consumer goods such as cell phones saw a substantial rise. According to import expenditures on medical and pharmaceuticals, the COVID-19 vaccines cost $2.63 million in February 2021. In February 2021, relative to February 2020, import spending on investment goods fell by 4.7%. Building materials and transportation equipment spending fell year over year, while spending on machinery and equipment imports grew significantly. On a year-over-year basis, the import volume index fell by 3.9% in February 2021, while the unit value index rose by 1.4%. This suggests that lower import rates caused the decrease in import spending.
The Chartered Institute of Personnel Management has announced 2 new diploma courses intended to develop and deliver leaders for human resources and management organizations. The new courses were introduced to the curriculum recently in Colombo.
Diploma in Occupational Safety and Health and Diploma in Industrial Relations and Employment Law were the latest courses announced by CIPM Sri Lanka. The president of CIPM, Jayant Amarasinghe, emphasized the importance of recognizing the core principles of people management strategies to the country. Jayant Amarasinghe stated that the CIPM has brought best international practices to the forefront of the relevance for CIPM members to specialize in key HRM outcome areas. Furthermore, he highlighted that continuous product improvement and enhancement of the product line is critical for the growth and longevity of every company.
Our student base is almost 10,000, and also every year we are releasing some around 600 to 700 graduates, and they are ready to deliver the core values, people management techniques to this country. So that is where we have brought the quality education and also quality development to this country, and we have been developing professionals for leadership role, as I said at the beginning, in every sector.
Stay tuned for stock updates.
අප්‍රේල් 19 වෙනිදා සිට NLB ස්වාධීන වේ. දිනන්න එන්න. අප්‍රේල් 19 වෙනිදා සිට NLB ස්වාධීන වේ. දිනන්න එන්න.
Welcome back after the break. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all-share price index dropped by minus 198.39 points to close at 7,355.11, and the S&P SO20 dropped by minus 86.59 points to close at 2,955.56. The turnover was 3.6 billion rupees and over 197 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And that's all news for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care and good night.
State of Business was sponsored by
ඔබගේ ආදරණීය වාහනය ආදරයෙන් සුරකින්න ඉකුඩ් ඇම්බුලන්ස් භාවිතා කරන්න.
බාධා නැති සීමා නැති SLT Mobitel Home 4G දැන් පුළුල් ආවරණයක් සමග.
IWS Aviation.